We grew this skincare brand on Amazon to over $1 million a month in revenue, and I'm gonna share with you the top 5 best performing PPC campaigns that we use to do it. I'm also gonna show you exactly how we set up those campaigns and give you a chance to get a resource from me that shows you exactly how to set these up back home yourself. I'm Chris Rawlings. I'm one of the single top spenders of Amazon PPC ads on the marketplace with over $2 million in monthly Amazon PPC ad spend. Now, for any Amazon brand, hitting $1 million a month is a super important milestone. It marks the point at which the brand is seriously valuable, where you could exit it for a life-changing sum of money, usually well into the 8 figures. Now, after doing this for over 10 years, I've grown dozens of brands past this point to $1 million a month in revenue on Amazon. So this brand in particular, with the campaigns I'm going to be showing you today, is how it played out this time. It doesn't mean this is how it plays out every time. In fact, the main rule to follow when you're running PPC on a big account like this is to constantly follow the data. You let the data make the decision, and you just continue to feed more of what works and cut back less of whatever isn't working. Okay, now I'm gonna walk through with you the top performing campaigns for this $1 million a month account that we just hit $1 million a month with last month. And as I'm doing it, I'm actually gonna be showing you a step-by-step of how to set up that type of campaign. And I'm gonna be referencing this resource that shows each of these types of campaigns in each of the major ad types: sponsored products, sponsored brands, and sponsored display, with each of the major goal types, which is performance campaigns, brand defense campaigns, research campaigns for new targets, and ranking campaigns. Now, for each of these campaign types, as I walk through it, I'm gonna be sharing with you this resource and screen sharing this resource with you that shows exactly how to set up each field in the ad console when you're setting up that type of campaign. So there's literally no ambiguity about how to set up this campaign. These fields map exactly to Amazon Seller Central Ad Console. So as you're going through to set up the campaign yourself, all you have to do is reference this card with this drop down, and you will be able to set it up yourself. Now, just in case you get lost, there's also, I've had my team create video walkthroughs of the setup of each of these types of campaigns so that you can go back and set it up yourself without any possible chance of getting lost while you're doing the setup yourself. So if that is not the most straightforward tutorial of how to set up campaigns for $1 million a month account, I don't know what is. So I'll tell you how to get that resource for yourself in just a minute, but right now let's go into these $1 million a month Amazon PPC campaigns. So you can see how this played out, and this is really common for a lot of consumables brands. You can see the ACoS is really volatile in the beginning, and then it kind of finds its equilibrium for where it has to be in order for you to drive growth profitably. And you could see, we just really took off with this account about a year ago when it just really started to absolutely explode. And now we most recently surpassed $1 million a month in sales. You can see we're at about $500,000 a month in PPC sales, which makes sense because our average ACoS is 45%. And in consumables, this is totally normal, totally regular. The reason is because your tacos is going to be a lot lower as time goes on because you get more and more repeat purchases. So an ACoS of 45% in consumables is actually great. A lot of consumables categories, you're going to be paying significantly more than that. So it makes sense. This is a good account, a good example of how a consumables account should reach and exceed $1 million a month. By the way, you can see with the organic sales graph that we're continuing to hit new highs, obviously discounting these big sales days, but we're now at somewhere around 40,000 a day in sales. And really, I think this account is just getting started. It's going to be surpassing this by many multiples over the coming next year. All right, now let's walk through each of these top performing campaigns on $1 million a month account so you can see really how this plays out. Some of these are going to be what you'd expect. Some of them are not going to be what you'd expect. Now, what I've done here is I've added text that describes what the campaign is because our naming convention is kind of cryptic if you don't understand how to use it. By the way, I have a whole formula on campaign naming conventions. It's super critical for really good, tight campaign management. You can message me if you want that. I'm going to put my email on the screen later on. But to make this easy to understand, I put a label over top of the campaign that shows actually what's happening inside the campaign. And what I'm going to do is walk you through the top 5 and how to set them up on the back end. Now, I put a relatively tight time frame here of just one single month. And the reason I did that is because if you do lifetime, you're going to include campaigns that were working a long time ago, but not working now. This is literally only the campaigns that are performing and providing a bulk of the sales now. You can see I've ordered the campaigns by sales. So top down, we're looking at the top selling campaign all the way down to the 10th most top selling campaign. And just like you'll find on pretty much any account for any product, there's a distribution graph here where the few top campaigns are providing most of the sales, and then it drops dramatically. And after this, there's going to be a ton of campaigns that are providing less sales. And we're looking at the product category that's driving a bulk of the growth for this particular brand. Okay, so perhaps unsurprisingly to a lot of you, the top performing campaign or the top selling campaign is a sponsored product campaign targeting one single keyword, exact match. The point of this campaign is to drive ranking. So the fact that we're getting a 50% ACoS is great, but we would keep running this campaign even if it was 60, 70, 80, 90, or even 100 or more ACoS, because of the fact that this is a consumables category and we know that the lifetime value from repeat purchasers is going to be much larger than a normal product on Amazon. So this is actually great that not only can we provide sales at a 50% ACoS, but we're also driving organic rank using this campaign for the most important keyword for that product. And this particular product, by the way, it's one where a majority of the sales are dominated by one particular keyword. It's very singular keyword driven. There's a lot of products where the keyword distribution is much more evenly distributed. This particular product, it's not evenly distributed. There's one particular keyword that drives a ton of traffic. So we have very dedicated focus on that keyword. And that's why we put it in its own campaign all by itself. So we could finely tune the bid adjusters and the bids all that we want and make sure that we're getting the best placements and the cheapest clicks and the most clicks and always winning the bid on that particular keyword and just dominating it. Okay, so let's go back to our campaign setup cheat sheet and let's talk through exactly how to set up this campaign. So I'm in the cheat sheet now. I'm going to scroll down to the ranking section inside sponsored products, and there we will see single keyword ranking campaign exact. And it's saying 3 to 5 campaigns because you might have 3 to 5 really important keywords that you want to dedicate a campaign for. Let's see how to set this up. So we can see purpose, the targeting, the match type, what to input for the keyword, the ad format, everything for how to set up this campaign that maps exactly to the ad console to make it super easy for you to do. Let's walk through how to set it up right now. So you're going to click sponsored products. So you're going to click create campaign in sponsored products, input the ad group name. Then you're going to click which product you want to advertise. Just select one, go to manual targeting, then keyword targeting, then enter list, put a custom bid. I have a whole video on bidding that you can check out. Then for the keyword, go to your keyword research sheet. Or if you haven't done keyword research and you're already selling, just use your sponsored products PPC search term reports to find the keyword that's most important to you. Add that one single keyword. You don't need to do any negative targeting. Use fixed bids so you can have fine-tuned control over making sure that you dominate that placement. Name the campaign something that actually makes sense. Input your daily budget and launch the campaign. Okay, for the next campaigns here, you see a phrase match keyword grouping campaign, and the grouping of the keyword is grouped by shopper intent. This means we're putting the keywords together that have a similar shopper intent. So if one is about acne, another is about oily skin, and another is about flaky skin, then we're gonna have all the ones that have the word flaky or flaky skin or dry skin all together in one campaign, then another one that's all about acne in another campaign, then another one that might be about the dosage, like extra large or something like that in another campaign. So we group them by shopper intent, and normally you end up with about half a dozen to a dozen groupings like this. This is one of the most important groupings for us. So we grouped the keywords together that were the most important, and we used phrase match in this. A lot of times you're going to do broad match or broad modified. What I'm going to do in this case is I'm actually going to combine these three because they're not very different. It's just either keyword groupings or individual keywords that give Amazon more leeway, either through using phrase match, broad match, or broad modified. Now, if you want to learn more about match types, I have a whole video on match types that walks through every match type, including the hidden one, which is broad modified, on my channel, and you can watch that after this video to go deeper into that. But for now, let's walk through how to set up a campaign like this. Okay, back in our campaign setup cheat sheet, you're gonna see under performance, multi-keyword targeting campaign broad. Now, phrase is very similar to the setup of a sponsored product campaign that's broad, sponsored product broad, or sponsored product phrase. They're going to be very similar. The only difference is broad gives Amazon more leeway to use words that you haven't even inputted, whereas phrase, Amazon has to use the words you inputted as the seed keywords in that order, and it can add more words to the front or the back. Again, you can check my whole video on match types if you want to go deeper into this. But for now, let's go through a walkthrough of how to set up this type of campaign. Okay, so you're going to click sponsored products, input the ad group name, select the product that you want to advertise, click manual targeting, keyword targeting, then go to enter list. And this time you're going to select broad. And here you're going to input the keyword or keyword groupings that you want to advertise. Now, if you did keyword research well, you should have these already determined ahead of time. If not, that's something that you need to do before this, because you can't just put in keywords randomly. They either have to be from your keyword research ahead of time or from your sponsored product campaigns. Now, when broad comes into play, it's good to have negative keywords in there. And you find negative keywords through your keyword research based on what keywords come up that you know are not relevant to you, and brands that you don't want to advertise on because you know you don't hold a candle to them, or you just want to separate those out into a separate campaign. For this, we're going to use down only bidding. You're going to start without bid modifiers, and then you will change the bid modifiers as time goes on based on which of the placements are performing best. Set your daily budget and then launch the campaign. By the way, if you need help on daily budgets, that's another thing that I have an entire video on my channel on how to set your budgets. You can check out that video after this one. Okay, so 3 campaigns like that, either broad match or phrase match with keyword groupings or an in particular important keyword, are providing a lot of sales. You could see over a month period, one of them is providing 70K, one's 55, another one's 55. So this tells you something, and this is a pattern that we've been seeing play out more and more over the last 6 months, which is Amazon is giving more playtime to campaigns that give it more leeway. So even though our single keyword exact match campaign is still the top performing campaign in terms of sales here, a lot of our accounts are actually not like this. A lot of the brands in our portfolio, a broad match campaign or a phrase match campaign is actually performing the best, or even an auto campaign sometimes. This was never the case before. So this is something to take into consideration if you're one of those sellers out there that only likes to have a lot of control and you only like single keyword exact match campaigns or just exact match, you never do broader phrase. Definitely you're missing out, because Amazon likes to have that leeway. It allows them to put it in different auctions that are a lot of times cheaper. You can sometimes get CPCs that are 20% cheaper or half the cost that you would for the same target in exact match campaigns. So this is a pattern. There's a reason why these are 3 out of the 4 top performing campaigns here are phrase or broad match. Definitely don't sleep on phrase or broad match types. Okay, now let's move on to the 3rd campaign structure type, which is sponsored product targeting. Targeting high volume competitors. This means instead of targeting keywords, we're targeting products, and we've specifically determined that we want to target the products that are the highest selling products, the highest competition, because that's going to get us the most traffic and the most volume. Okay, let's go back to our campaign setup cheat sheet and let's look at how to set up a product targeting campaign in sponsored products for targeting products that have a high volume of sales. So if I expand this, you'll see this maps exactly to how to set this up in the ad console. Now let's go through the setup ourselves. Okay, so you're going to go to sponsored products, input your ad group name, select the product that you want to advertise, click manual targeting, click product targeting instead of keyword targeting, select individual products, enter list. You're going to custom bid. Watch my video on bidding to find out what to put for that bid. Then input the list of ASINs. Now, to find this list of ASINs, it's very simple. All you have to do is use a tool like Helium 10, or not even, you could do it on your own just by looking at what products are ranking for your main keywords and selling the highest volumes. You're going to use down only bidding, select your daily budget, and launch the campaign. Okay, so for the 4th campaign type, I'm actually going to skip this one. That doesn't really count. This is branded search terms. This provides a very low ACoS. You could see 12% and a lot of sales here, but we don't really consider this performance PPC. This is really just keeping competitors from sniping our sales. And the reason it's so low ACoS is because people are already searching for our brand. So we don't really consider that. So I'm going to skip to the next one, which is sponsored brand video. And this is sponsored brand video, keyword targeted, using the keywords that are already performing best inside sponsored products. This is the key. So with sponsored brand video, you want to take the terms that are already doing well in sponsored products and use those in sponsored brand video. And if you want to really crush it, you can tailor the creative in the video to those terms. And this is where what I was talking about before comes really into play and becomes super clutch, which is grouping your keywords by shopper intent. If you group your keywords by shopper intent, you could put all the keywords about flaky skin in a video campaign that starts off with skin flaking and then the cream going on. If you wanted to have a video specifically for the acne, then you would have all of your keywords for acne and the video would be specifically for that. That's a way to go super ninja on this. Now let's talk about how to set this campaign up. So in our PPC campaign setup cheat sheet, we're gonna go over to sponsored brands and you're gonna see keyword targeted video ad, exact. So open this up and you will see exactly how to set up this type of campaign. Let's walk through the setup ourselves right now. So this time you're gonna go to sponsored brands, click continue, name the campaign, then you're gonna put it in a portfolio, select your budget. Down here, you're gonna say drive page visits, leave on automatic bidding, name the ad group, select video, select product detail page. Then you're gonna select the product that you wanna advertise and just select one product. Down here, you're gonna turn off cost control, select keyword targeting, click enter list, unclick phrase and broad so you're only doing exact, and then enter the keywords from one of the groupings that you came up with in your keyword research or that's showing up in your sponsored product PPC search term reports. Then you're gonna scroll down, input the creative, make sure to name the campaign and the ad group properly, select the video that you've already prepared for the creative, and then launch the campaign. Finally, we get to the 5th best performing campaign structure type for $1 million a month account. And in this case, it happened to be a low bid auto campaign in sponsored products, a quote unquote catch-all campaign. What you're really doing in this type of campaign is you're feeding off of sellers that are dumber because they're running out of budget in the middle of the day where the cost per click is the highest and then the cost per click plummets down and we're there to scoop up all the cheap clicks. That's basically what this auto campaign does. You set the bid real low. In this case, we did loose match and substitutes. A lot of times you're just gonna stick with close match and substitutes. Loose match doesn't tend to perform as well. It's just that in this case, it happened to. But close match and substitutes are gonna be your two go-to match types in auto. Just keep that in mind. Yeah, so this basically, it's like, you know how they say the lottery is like a tax on the dumb? Because it's very unlikely that you're going to win the lottery and it's heavily taxed. So it's basically like the government taxing dumb people. Well, this is kind of like a tax on the dumb, but on the Amazon marketplace. It's people that don't know how to bid properly, don't know how to budget properly. They're running out of budget in the middle of the day. They're spending all their clicks on the highest CPC times that have the lowest conversion rates and the lowest ROAS, the highest ACoS. And then once they're all spent and they're, bleeding in the corner, you come around and pick up the bags of cash like a little vulture. So that's kind of what it's like. I know that sounds kind of raw, but that's what these campaigns do. Sometimes they can perform well. As you could see, the volume is nowhere near the volume. This is 17K for the month. The top performing campaign is 73K. So it's never going to give you high volumes, but it can be a good ACoS. As you could see, this is the best ACoS out of all the campaigns besides this branded search terms campaign that we don't count. But 37% ACoS, not bad, right? So it's a good way to get lean sales cheaply and, unfortunately at the expense of sellers that are, not as sharp. Okay, so back to our campaign structure setup cheat sheet. You can see down here we have research campaigns, but in reality, these auto campaigns can be much more than research. As you can see, it was providing a very low ACoS for us. Let's go through how to set up a close match one. Like I said before, close match and substitutes are going to be your best, but there's also loose match and complements to test out if you want. But most of the time, close match and substitutes are going to be your best bets to start with. So let's walk through setting this campaign up. Okay, so you're going to go to sponsored products, name the ad group, select the product that you want to advertise, click automatic targeting, click set bids by targeting group, use one targeting group at a time normally to keep it nice and clean. Then you're going to negative exact match keywords that shouldn't be in there. There's two ways to do this. You can negative exact match all the keywords that you have in separate campaigns to keep it clean. Normally, although I'd really prefer that you just negative exact match the keywords that aren't going to perform well because they're unrelated to your product or they keep showing up, but they're actually not part of your product's unique value proposition in the first place. So depends on how much of a purist you are with your PPC, how you do this. You don't have to go crazy with this, but definitely negative exact match keywords that keep coming up that don't perform well, like these ones that we just put in. Now, the main work of setting up and maintaining an auto campaign is negative exact matching. Unlike another type of campaign where the main work is just bid adjustment, for auto campaigns, the negative exact matching is the most important part of managing the campaign, and that's how you continually cut it down. And the reason is because by default, Amazon's just showing it on all kinds of stuff. Now in this case, we're going to use dynamic bids down only. Start without any bid adjusters. Those will come in later in the optimization phase. Name the campaign, set your daily budget, and launch it. Okay, now if you're a seasoned vet, but you're not yet at $1 million a month in revenue, or maybe you're even there or surpassed it, you may have been shocked by some of the simplicity of these campaigns. And the thing is, every campaign, every brand, every product is going to turn out totally differently. I'm walking you through this particular brand that we just cracked $1 million a month on, but we have another one that looks totally differently, where most of the performance is coming from sponsored brands and sponsored display, and there's very little sponsored products, and we have a ton of retargeting going on. So everyone's going to perform different. The key is to follow the data. Now, what I didn't show you that most PPC professionals, freelancers, brand owners, aggregators don't understand, which actually performed most of the legwork in the PPC management that is unseen when you look at the actual campaigns, is what you're looking at on my screen right now, which we call the essential feedback loop. This is where the magic really happens, and this is what allowed these campaigns to perform well, and what's allowing this product to continue to grow at an exponential pace, and how we're going to continue to grow it at an exponential pace over the next year. And what this is a way to continually use the PPC data to improve not just the campaigns, but the product assets themselves. So let me explain. We like to think of the PPC campaigns as the horse that carries the warrior into battle. The warrior is your thumbnail and your listing, right? So they never see the light of day if the PPC campaigns don't carry them into the marketplace, because over 50% of search results is now ads. Everyone knows it. It's a pay-to-play platform. That's just reality. So the campaigns carry your listings into battle all day long. While the listings are on the battlefield, they're making sales and they're producing data. At the end of each day, this data is being aggregated, and we can collect it and analyze it in the form of PPC search term reports, the business reports, and most importantly, the brand analytics and search query performance reports. Now, in our case, we also use a dedicated Amazon Ads partner dashboard because we're an official Amazon Ads partner, so we have access to a partner dashboard. We also use specific tools to do deeper analysis for things like day parting. The point is, you're analyzing the data, and then that's what you use to make changes on the campaigns. And those changes can be bid adjustments, budget adjustments, bid adjuster adjustments. They could be keyword negations, keyword graduations, changing creative. These all changes that we make on the PPC campaigns come from analyzing this data, and that's how we continue to sharpen the performance of the campaigns I just shared with you. But all of that is still just half of the story. And this is the key. This is the most important part that most brand owners miss, even big brand owners, 8-figure brand owners, 9-figure brand owners, aggregators. This is what's caused some of the biggest aggregators that were super well funded to actually fail after raising millions and millions of dollars and being worth billions of dollars, is because they didn't get this part, which is using this data to not just improve the performance of the PPC campaigns, but to change the very product assets themselves. So if we have our campaigns organized properly and our keywords are organized by shopper intent, and we can look at the campaigns to see what different shopper avatars are experiencing when they're clicking our campaigns and they're seeing our thumbnail and they're clicking on our thumbnail and they're experiencing our listing, we can use that data to change the thumbnail, to change the listing assets, and make them more and more relevant to those particular shopper intents, those particular buyer avatars, so that it gets more and more economical over time. And this causes our TACOS and our ACOS to constantly drop because we're using the data to make our product assets more relevant to what we see they're clicking. What we see is actually connecting with them. This is the magic, guys. And once you're doing this really properly, the brand is going to end up with like a whole division that's basically just doing split tests of primary image, split tests of different A+ content, split tests of different brand story, split tests of different secondary images, split tests of different bullet points, even the reviews. All of this, badges, coupons, all of these changes should come from you analyzing the data from your PPC, drawing insights from it, and then creating actions as a result of that and changes on the listings and thumbnails. Now I'm going to do a whole video on exactly how to do that and how we've done it on particular brands to produce incredible results If you want to explore partnering with my company, Sophie Society, to grow your brand with PPC, just click the link in the description of this video and you can apply there. It is an application only thing, but the application only takes about a minute. So click there if you want to check that out. If you want to see the video that I kept referencing on how to set bids, because we didn't cover that in this video, click this link right here that will walk through exactly how to set your bid. It goes how to calculate it. And by the way, the answer is not to use Amazon's suggested bid. That is the wrong way to go. It's absolutely the worst thing you can do. But if you want to know exactly how to do it, just click this video and you can watch it there. See you guys in the next one.